Is AI primarily a job killer or a job creator?
I don't think it's either. The fundamental thing that I always come back to is regardless of technology, there's still the same amount of people on the planet to look after. What I think AI is doing is it's allowing us to do less work that nobody likes to do.
So, what are the key consideration to ensure a smooth transition that minimize job displacement and maximize the creation of new valuable roles?
The people that are already doing a really great job, give
Hmm.
them the opportunity to look for where they can make their role more efficient and
Right.
task them with the project to incorporate AI
Right.
into the role to improve efficiency.
Many people fear AI will lead to widespread unemployment, right? So, what skills do you believe individuals need to develop now to stay relevant and thrive in the AI driven workforce?
There is going to be a skills shift and a job skills shift. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be mass um, joblessness. I just don't think that's the case. And when I say new technology, AI has actually been around for a long, long time. What
Absolutely.
happened was someone was able to put AI in the hands of the consumer. That's what's new. This is a very new domain. So no one is an expert. So leverage the people you've got and the hard workers that you've got, give them the opportunity to think about how you can make uh, your business go to its next level, leveraging this new technology. If you dig your heels in and
Right.
say it's got to be done a particular way, you will eventually lose your job.
Hello and namaste. I'm your host and friend Rahul, and you are watching my YouTube channel Mera Rukh. On the other side of the screen, we have Jess Claire with us. Jess is an AI enthusiast and product expert at the reputed firm Zingify. If Jess is involved in your project, you can rest assured about the quality, delivery, and timelines. Furthermore, if you find yourself bored during the product development process, you can also buy a ticket and watch a stand up comedy show, which will guarantee a complete entertainment and laughter. Jess, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and discuss this very important topic with us. I really appreciate your presence here.
You are so welcome, Rahul. I'm very looking forward to this very much.
Right. So let's start with a very big question. Is AI primarily a job killer or a job creator? From your perspective as a product expert deeply involved in AI, where do you see the balance tipping and why?
It's a good question because right now there's a lot of uh, concern and fear over job killer, job creator. Um, I don't think it's either. The fundamental thing that I always come back to is regardless of technology, regardless of what happens and things advancing, which it always will and always has, there's still the same amount of people on the planet to look after.
Hmm.
So that doesn't change. People are the amount of people here hasn't changed. If anything, it's growing. So um, what I think AI is doing is it's allowing us to do less work that nobody likes to do. So I think that's great. I mean, before AI came along, and I'm in tech, how long did it take me to write code? A long time. And how long did it take me to formulate my ideas? Or how long was it taking me to write an email to a customer? Now I literally use ChatGPT every day. Now I need to still write that email to a customer like I did today, but I just go over to ChatGPT and I said, "Chat, write this email. This is what I need it to contain." I still need to have all the thinking, and then it puts it in a nice email. I paste it in. It saves me 20 minutes every email. So that's only one small version of it, but there's loads
Hmm.
of mini admin tasks that would take up a lot of my day. And what you would find is that, say, about 50% of people's roles are very admin heavy. So for me, this takes away a lot of the admin that I don't think anyone should be doing anyway. and it allows people space to think and create and put in effort into things that they ordinarily wouldn't have time to because they're so bogged down with all this other stuff. So I think it's going to um, I don't think it's going to kill jobs.
Hmm.
I think there's admin jobs out there, and it's going to make administrative assistants far more efficient and productive. I think
Right.
every job is still going to exist. I just think that you need to adapt to use the tools so that you can be more efficient and productive and effective in those tools. But every job that currently exists is going to have an extension of being able to or having to adapt to using AI tools, not just relying on their expertise. In saying that, I do think some jobs will be killed. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely, very rightly said. Just to take this conversation forward, we often hear about AI automating repetitive tasks, right? As you also mentioned. Can you give us specific examples of how you have seen play out in real life business scenarios, and what new role and opportunity have emerged as a result?
Yeah, sure. So I think the one that where like I'm even training people on next week is
Mhm.
I call it the AI executive assistant because
Right.
um, when you think of tech and you think and I'm business owners, so we deal with business owners all day, every day.
Hmm.
There's all these parts in between. You're on meetings with people, you have to while you're on the meeting, you have to think and be there on the meeting, and then whilst you're there, you also have to know what are the actions you're taking that are gonna forward whatever it is you're working on in that project or that task. You then have to remember what you talked about. You then have to remember who said what and who's doing what. And you would know this being a project manager, Rahul. You have to listen and think quite heavily in some of these meetings and try and capture. And even then, you may miss things.
Right.
So we are doing an AI agent. We're actually creating or training people in AI agents next week in having someone or an AI be in the meeting, listen to the whole meeting, transcribe the meeting, video the
Hmm.
meeting. So you've got the transcript and the video handy if you ever need it. Then it takes that and with the right prompting, it sends you an email and says, here's all the minutes from the meeting in detail. Here's that in your email if you want something more detailed. And then it sends a Slack message and says into the Slack, this is a summary of that meeting, the key points. Here's the actions, and here's who's assigned to those actions. Then it goes even further and creates the Jira tasks in Jira and writes the Jira card and then assigns it to who it needs to be assigned to in Jira. And then all that has to happen now is the project manager or the product manager goes in and just confirms those cards and their priority. That's
Wonderful.
it. That's
So this
leverage. That is leveraging AI. Yeah.
Uh, so just for the business looking to integrate AI, like you also mentioned here. So what are the key consideration to ensure a smooth transition that minimize job displacement and maximize the creation of new valuable roles?
Yeah. That is really good question. Um, for me, it's for your top performers, the people that are already doing a really great job, give
Hmm.
them the opportunity to look for where they can make their role more efficient and
Right.
task them with the project to incorporate AI
Right.
into the role to improve efficiency.
Hmm.
Because these top performers are top performers for a reason and
Hmm.
they need to be reskilled. But it's not just them. Everyone is going to be needing to be reskilled in the next 5 to 10 years, even shorter. 1 to 2 to 5. We have to get AI savvy. We have to
Right.
look for ways we can incorporate it into our day and our life. And so your top performers, given the opportunity, will probably do that. One of the things we did at Zingify was we are a tech company, and we build tech as well as have our own tech, and we noticed how we're getting behind. Right, so
Hmm.
we did our own internal hackathon. We hacked our
Okay.
own processes. We hacked our own level of thinking about what was possible. And everyone participated in 2 or 3 people groups. and came up with a new way that we could enhance and create efficiency and productivity. I highly recommend doing that in your business. You're getting to a point where there's the only real thing that you can do is interrupt and impact your own processes and thinking by giving people an opportunity to generate ideas that you may not have even thought of. So, internal hackathon, that is what I would recommend.
So, just
Yeah.
many people fear AI will lead to widespread unemployment, right? So, what skills do you believe individuals need to develop now to stay relevant and thrive in the AI driven workforce?
Yeah, that is a genuine concern. Again, I
Right.
go back to um I do go back to the fact that regardless of any kind of technology, we still have um the same amount of people to look after.
Mm,
So this is going to probably create a shift.
mm,
If the earth gets tilted a few degrees, things start to move around, but they suddenly land eventually,
right.
and it will be the new normal. I do think that um there is going to be a skills shift and a job skills shift. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be mass um, joblessness. I just don't think that's the case. Because even with AI tools and even with all these advances, the thing I'm noticing in business is no one knows how to use it all, and no
Mm,
one knows how to use it all. So, um, or what for, or what's important. And so, back in the um, like 2000s when the internet was emerging, it was the same sort of thing. Everyone thought they needed a website, and everyone was like, "Oh, business is going to be online. We're going to get a website." Now, did that actually create any efficiency by having a website? It We thought it did because SEO and all this stuff came along. It made it easier for some industries, but the same industries were still there. It just shifted a bit the way people were doing
right.
business. And I think
Right.
that's going to be the same. So I think I think that less admin will definitely
Mm,
be a standard. So if you're in admin, you have to work
mm,
out ways to use AI to create an efficient automated admin office. But when things break in admin, they're going to need someone to fix it. So if you
right.
train yourself to leverage AI, you what we call be an integrator. So now I'm an
Mm,
admin expert, but I can use this tool for emails and I can use this and I can use this and I can integrate this and create a whole lot of efficiency. I think that's going to be necessary. You are definitely going to have to learn to integrate technologies and AI tools so that you can make your own role far more efficient.
Can you share example of industries or sectors where you see AI having the most significant positive impact on job creation in next 5 to 10 years?
In job creation, that's
Mm,
really hard to tell. That's that's what when I said there's one question I don't know that I have an answer for because the thing that people want is answers, right?
mm,
And right now we have this new technology and every day I'm surprised with new use cases for it.
right.
And and when I say new technology, AI has actually been around for a long, long time. What
Absolutely.
happened was someone was able to put AI in the hands of the consumer. That's what's
Mm,
new. And so AI is now available like it is with large language models, ChatGPT, Grok, like whatever it is, it's now available at such disposal. We could use it at however we want, wherever we want it. It's just going to take someone thinking of something that's really needed that we can't maybe even see. So it's it's like asking that question right now is very hard to answer because it's being um it's being used and people are thinking of new things every day. Like I see something new every day and I'm blown away by the way it's being used. What I can tell you is about people with disabilities, um, occupational therapy. So people that are born and not able to do certain things, like I can tell you about. There are some people, and a very large percentage of people that may be small but still impacts them in their life in terms of like hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that are born with no ability to do simple things. And the only way they can teach them is by having an image of their own self, like a mirror,
mm, mm,
and like cleaning their teeth or brushing their hair. And this would ordinarily take 30 years for occupational
right.
therapists to be able to teach an individual with these disabilities how to do that. Now, AI and creating an AI avatar of of that person, then doing those things has sped up the ability for people with certain things like that um, to be able to brush their teeth, do their hair in record time. So, what I'm seeing is ways in which people are leveraging AI is blowing my mind. So,
Right.
if you the best way to think of it is I would go, if you see a problem that's taking way too long to solve, that's probably the thing that's going to emerge, and you could be the person that has the skills to do that. So it's more like it's so open now. Um, the one area that AI is taking over is sales and marketing, which
Mm,
always is the case. So there's a new sales and marketing tool every day coming out, and no one
absolutely.
knows no one knows which one to choose. So I think that's always going to be the case. There's always those tools, but I love to see all these other areas. It's like, what are we going to do in health? What are we going to do in mental health? What are we going to do for our own well-being? What are we going to have for wellness that we don't have right now? There's all these other domains that are largely untouched because everyone focused so much on sales and marketing tools. So I'm really looking forward to those other use cases that we come up with.
Absolutely. So, taking this conversation further, how can a business effectively retain and upskill their existing workforce to work alongside AI rather than being replaced by AI?
Yeah, and I do think that it's important that, just like we did in our business where we've got a great team. Now we're all going to do a hackathon. It's like, okay, let's do these 2 days. And together we're going to come up with an idea of what we can do. We're going to go find the tools because there's so many tools out there now. Uh, and we're going to use those tools and we're going to create new processes. Even that gets people into a new place, thinking about their job, thinking about where they're going, and upskilling them on the job too. I think it's important that CEOs, business owners, don't try and replace staff because these tools are so new. They've only been around
Right.
since 2022 for
Right.
public, consumer use. And so no one's an expert. And really, anyone that's out there saying they are an expert, they've only had 1 year experience using things on YouTube and maybe playing with tools. This is a very new domain. So no one is an expert. So leverage the people you've got and the hard workers that you've got, give them the opportunity to think about how you can make uh, your business go to its next level, leveraging this new technology.
My next question is very much related to this only because we have seen AI excel in data analysis and pattern recognition. So, what are some of the human skills like creativity, critical thinking, leadership, and empathy that will become even more valuable in AI integrated workplace?
Yeah, I definitely think that being an integrator, like integrative thinking. So thinking how, all right, I'm going to need this AI tool, this. You might have a
Mm,
series of four, and
mm,
being able to get the whole journey that you're trying to produce and create efficiency for to make it work. And then
right.
being able to say that to your business owner or your head of, you need to become an integrator and work with all
Mm,
these tools.
mm,
So I always say the skill of integration and integrating different tools. The other one is definitely emotional intelligence and leadership.
mm, mm,
So, whilst we go through this stage, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to shake things up, do things differently. If you dig your heels in and
right.
say it's got to be done a particular way, you will eventually lose your job.
Mm,
There is no way to do things anymore. Every way that we currently do things needs to shift. So,
absolutely.
so that would be the skill of going, okay, I know my own limitations. I actually I'm in the same world as everyone else. No one's an expert here. So I'm either going to learn how to do these skills, or I'm going to lead people who
Mhm.
are going to do these skills. So emotional intelligence and leadership, or you're going to be an integrator. And the power, like you said it, critical thinking
Right.
and creative thinking, I call it. So actually being able to say, I maybe don't know, rather
Mhm.
than pretending you do know now. Because we're now in a world where no one is an expert and no one has the answers. And so if you can own that you're also like uncertain about what could potentially be happening and give yourself freedom to go in and creatively think and maybe not have the only answer, I think that's a skill of being vulnerable and humble in maybe you just don't know. And maybe you could spend
Absolutely.
some time to work it out and think it through.
Absolutely. So,
Mm.
just as a product expert, what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced when designing AI powered solutions that are both innovative and uh, responsible in terms of their impact on workforce?
Um, Look, I think one of the challenges is that some of these tools actually do replace people.
Right.
Like they do seem to. So you can now, for example, reel makers. Some of these AI tools that are out there actually make better reels than people make reels.
Mhm.
It's there is a lot that actually genuinely does um, replace a job or look like it replaces a job.
Content writing is also one of the things.
Yeah, content writing, um, graphic design. So there's a lot of marketing tools, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
admin, those sorts of things. Definitely is given people's jobs and lives are built around this. So that is definitely the biggest impact I've seen, and that's why I said I what I've noticed though is we hire people like one of the most successful people that I've worked with had a job in a particular domain. And when AI started going, just tried and tested different things and tried to see if they could do graphic design and they could do video editing and they could do content writing, as you say. And then they became the best at using those tools.
Mhm.
Again,
Exactly.
their skill shifted to this was my domain, but now I'm the best at leveraging these tools. And they became a good researcher in AI in that domain and found how they could do all of that thinking for the business rather than go and hire someone who would. So
Mhm.
that's how their skills evolve. So it definitely is replacing jobs, but only if that person resists ever embracing it. The moment someone resists embracing it and sees how they can work with it, it becomes their new job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, reluctance should not be there. You should be very much adaptive to the new things, new technologies which are coming to your way, and just use it, try it, leverage it, and upskill yourself. So yes, it's pretty interesting. So looking beyond the immediate concern of job displacement, like we discussed, what are the long-term societal implication of AI, and how can we ensure that its benefit and distributed equitably?
Well, again, that's tough. It's
Mm.
it's long-term impact. Again, I always come back to we still have 8 billion people to look after on the planet. And so it's going to get rid of so I think as a business owner, and there's
Mm.
people I imagine that watch this that are in business, it's very hard to have a thriving business. The majority of businesses do
Right.
not have thriving businesses. The majority of businesses make ends meet and they do their best to make profit. I think AI is going to make it a little bit better on their margins. So you you will still have to hire people, you'll still have to do certain things, but now at least it's not as much admin. And now I have one person that can do a bunch of things. So, yes, as a result, the net effect is going to be less people are required for the same amount of businesses that are out there. Okay. So I do think that that would be a net effect. But also as a result, there's a whole lot of space that businesses are going to have to spend more money because they've got it.
Mm,
And
mm,
so new things are going to start to emerge and new problems are going to need to be solved. And so I think the long term impact is yes, a net effect. But if I'm in business, as I am, and you're an entrepreneur and you're someone who is now skilled in AI, you can start to listen for what are the things people now need that they didn't need 5 years ago.
right. Absolutely. Just would like to give one more example here. In early days, when let's take it the automobile industry, when most of the things human used to do. Let's say they are building a car, right?
Yeah.
They used to do painting. They used to tighten the nut and bolt and each and every part. Now the entire car production is simply humanless, right? But
Yeah.
right, but to maintain the factory, but to create those machineries and to create those technologies, you need human, right? You need
Exactly.
people.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. So it is a job shift, not a job uh, killer, I would say.
That's
So
right.
absolutely. So
Absolutely.
coming
And I think, but I don't know this, that most of us will be working in a tech company. That's the
right.
way we're all moving to technology. So that means that tech skills are going to be one of the most important skills around, and product skills and integration skills and
Mm,
project skills. So I do think that when you look at it, it's mostly technology. So you're probably looking, I could be wrong, but you're probably looking down in 20 years, we're all going to be a part of a tech company,
right.
one or another.
Absolutely. So, coming to the last question of this conversation, it has been a wonderful discussion so far with you. What ethical considerations should business and individual keep in mind while embracing AI for their growth and innovation?
Ethical considerations. Look, I
Right.
think data protection is
Mhm.
always, super important. Um,
Right.
so ethical considerations. I mean, I could get into so many ethical considerations in terms of AI itself and data theft and the fact that everything is listening now, but I won't get into that. In terms of who your audience is and the ethical considerations is really just down to the people. Remember, when you are in a business and the world is evolving as it is right now, and people do fear their jobs, it's just more to have some compassion for people might get concerned. People might resist. People might argue that this isn't right. People might go through those phases. And I think it's more, for me, it's about not necessarily ethical from a business perspective, because businesses are always going to try and get more efficient, but more from a compassion perspective. Like, have compassion for, this is not an easy time for people to navigate. So give people chances in actually creating the efficiency themselves before just cutting the jobs and moving on, because this is having a big impact right now.
Absolutely. So, just
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time today, and to it's a wonderful discussion with you. And I hope the viewers who will watch this discussion, they will get some important insights, important details, that AI is not a job killer. It is certainly a big job shift. But
Yeah.
yes, as an individual, you have to upskill yourself. You have to adopt to the new technologies, new things which are coming to your way, and move forward accordingly. So thank you,
Yeah.
Jess. Thank you very much for today's discussion. In future, with some more interesting topic, I will bother you to have a conversation with you.
For
Thank you. Thank you
sure.
very much.
Thank you.